schools today are short of a couple of things. They're short of funds and they're short of volunteers. And we step in and help them with both. So it ends up creating a win-win-win scenario, a win for the school, a win for our franchisees, and a win for us because, we developed the system that our franchisees across the country and soon to be in Canada as well follow.
So, when you originally started this, you said you bought your first machine on eBay, your first vending machine. Can you share a little bit about what that vending machine was, how much it cost you, and what was kind of the plan with the first one more than anything else?
Yeah, well, the first one, I didn't know anything, to be honest, and so I figured, what the heck, we'll just give this thing a whirl. So this is what my first candy gumball machine looked like. It was two head. One side was gumballs, one side was candy, and I like I said, I'd read a few books on eBay. I found out that Sam's Club stocked the candy and the gumballs that I needed. And there's a couple different types of vending that you can do out there. There's what's called charity vending, and then there's a vending where you're doing a revenue share with the location itself. Most gumball machines you see out there are charity vending, meaning the operator has a relationship with a charity and a portion of the proceeds go to benefit that charity. And so that's what I started out doing. I worked with MD Anderson's Children's Cancer Hospital in the Houston area, and a portion of the proceeds from that machine went to MD Anderson in exchange for about a square foot of space in a location. And so in most places, most restaurants and that, they've got plenty of space like that. And for them to use a small bit of their real estate to benefit a charity, creates a win-win situation as well. So that's kind of how it all got started in that regard.
So what was the cost on the first machine?
$36.
$36 to get your first machine. And tell me a little bit about getting your first client. I'm just curious as to how was that process? Like, you got the machine, you read some books, you understood exactly what you needed to do. Who was the first person you called, and what happened to get your first placement?
I literally picked one end of a busy street in the town that I lived in, Kingwood, Texas, outside of Houston. I hit the first strip mall that was there, and I literally went door to door, business to business, the same spiel every business I walked into. I didn't try to, well, this is going to be a good one and this is going to be a bad one. And I didn't try to prejudge any of them. I just went literally business to business looking for locations that would be willing to place a machine. The very first location was actually a karate studio there in the local area. They were actually raising money at the time for a local family that was part of their studio whose child was in the hospital. And so I ended up saying, hey, listen, normally I do this for MD Anderson, but in this case, if you guys like, I'd be happy to send the money to that family who needs it within your studio. And the fact that I was willing to listen and to help out with their need was really what struck a chord with the guy who was running the studio. Well, that ended up leading, I didn't know at the time, but that group was a chain of karate studios around Houston. And within the next couple of months, that ended up leading to another 6 or 7 locations around Houston just in karate studios of that name. And that was kind of the whole start of the whole thing.
So, how profitable is one machine? Let's talk a little bit about numbers. Like, someone buys a basic machine. Now, I'm not saying the split or what that is, but let's say a basic gumball machine. And what are they spending? They're spending $30-$50 on the actual machine plus filling it up. What does that cost, and what do you kind of get back? What's the ROI?
Well, first off, a recommendation I would make to folks, if they think vending would be a good fit for them, don't cobble together a business like I did. When I got to where my route reached its maturity, PJ, I literally had a key ring of keys that was this big around. and it was a nightmare trying to remember which key went to which location. Um, so what I would encourage people to do is go to one of the reputable companies who sells equipment in our industry. You can get the exact same equipment over and over and over again, the exact same key, the exact same parts, all of that. And that makes a huge difference. One of the things that I wish that I had understood at the beginning. So that being said, I think the National Bulk Vending Census from last year stated that the average gumball machine out there today does about $12 a month. Um, Not a lot of money, but you're not there. And the equipment in most cases has enough capacity to where, you can go 60, 90 days in some cases without having to service it. So it goes out there and just does its thing. And in my case, I was continuing to work as an ad professional, but quarters were being put in my machines day after day after day after day. That first machine, a new machine from a reputable company like I talked about, you're going to pay probably $75 to $100 by the time it's delivered to you. So, a bit more than what I paid for my very first one. But that being said, I paid off that machine in a month and a half in my first location. It was a karate studio with a ton of kids. It was a prime location. The first time I went back after a couple weeks just to see, okay, are people really using these things? Because I never did. There was quarters spilling out of the thing when I put the key in and opened it up. So, ROI, the time to get return on investment, man, I don't know, 3, 4 months, 5 months, very fast in the whole scheme of things. The other thing I would tell folks as well, PJ, is listen, you're going to go into your area and you're going to see a bunch of vending machines. That's okay. See, I saw opportunity there where a lot of other people would say, well, man, the market's already saturated. Here's where you're wrong. There's a bunch of different kinds of vending machines. There's the candy and gumball machine. There's the sticker machine or temporary tattoo machine. There's the small capsule toys. There's the large capsule toys. There's a lot of those kind of things. So there were some locations I went into, there was no equipment and I was the only guy. But then there's others where there was other equipment already there. And what I would do is I'd walk in and say, okay, he's got candy and gumballs. He's got, capsuled toys, but he doesn't have stickers or temporary tattoos. And he's got a couple foot of space here. So I'd walk in and say, hey, listen, I own a vending company. I see you're already working with somebody and that's awesome. Looks like they've got a great setup. I noticed though that you guys don't have stickers and temporary tattoos. What would you say about me adding a simple sticker and temporary tattoo machine right here in this 2-foot space? We'll be selling something completely different that doesn't compete with the other guy here. And it allows you to offer even more to your customers and more options. And in most cases, they'd be like, sure. So I'd get my foot in the door in any way that I could, because the other option is to try to kick that other guy out, which chances are that's probably not going to happen. And if you do, you've just ticked him off, and now you've got a target on your back for all the locations that you're in. So I always looked for a way that I could peacefully coexist with others. And there was 9 times out of 10 opportunity in a location if I was just willing to get a little bit creative. So plenty of opportunity in your area, I guarantee it. But you have to look at it from that perspective and not just see, oh, there's vending machines there, and then move on.